Welcome to the Old Stream Farm, episode 12, with me, Mr. Silly P. Right, here we are. New episode, new challenges, new things to do. I am going to be creating a field today. I say creating a field. The field technically already exists, and this is where I'm not sure how this is going to work. I'm going to put on the thing in the top corner, which isn't liked by all, I know. And if I do the left shoulder button, it gives me lower cultivator, allow create fields, and toggle map size. Now what normally happens is if I press triangle to allow create fields, if I drop that plough down now and move over here, it will create a new field, it will plough it out. You can't always set a worker to do that unless it's on a field that's already in existence. Now if you look from ground level, it's kind of hard to make it out. So if I jump onto the tractor and zoom out, you can see there's already a field boundary here. Where I've cut the grass, it's a darker patch, okay? So there's technically already a field here. So I don't know if I drive forward now with allow create fields on, whether it will let me hire a worker, whether the worker will plough this field out because it registers it as a field. If it does, I can do that, and then all I've got to do is plough out the gaps in between. So, moment of truth. If I drop this plough down now and set a worker, it looks like it is going to work. No, it's not. Oh, come on. Why? There's already a field here. It just registered the boundary. No, doesn't want to know. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, well, then I'll play it myself. It's not a problem at all. So what I need to do now, because the edges aren't quite matching up, I'll come across now. The advantage to setting a worker to do it is that it will do a completely straight line. The disadvantage of me doing it is I won't. I will try really hard to follow the line that's there. So what I'll do is in cab, if I look at where the dark green patches, if you look at the right hand side of my bonnet, yeah, I want to come over a little bit, maybe stick to that, I don't know, we'll see how we go with the ploughing. If I keep my right hand part of my bonnet in line with where the dark patch meets the light patch, it should keep me in a straight line. That's not to say it will. I'll go back to outside, let's drop the plough down and see how we go first of all, because I don't want to come too far over. I didn't want to set a worker, thank you very much. Right, allow create fields. Now, lower the cultivator, not set a worker. I'm going to do this. So, as you can see now, I'm creating my own field. Wonderful, and I'm over a fraction. So if I come over, hopefully now, I'll go in a straight line, and we'll plough this out. You may have different methods for doing this, you may have a different way, a better way. If you know of an easier way or better way, or you know, whatever, please let me know. Like I say, I'm open to suggestions. I haven't really kind of found an effective way of doing it yet. It's sometimes it's a bit of a hit and hope. You try and keep a straight line. If you go off, you can always come back in with the sweeper mod or the roller, and you can kind of set next to it so you get a straighter edge. So if I come inside now, yeah, if I look where the right hand side of my bonnet is, if I follow and try and keep that in line with where the dark patch meets the light patch, I should get a straight edge. Problem is every time I adjust, it's going to leave me with a jagged line behind me, but I'll try my best. I can always tidy it up later on. The question is, how far do I go? Do I make this a massive field? Do I stop there and look across my left? I need to pick something that I want to come into line with, because if I go right to the end, this field is going to be absolutely huge. Just come outside and have a quick look. Yeah, I mean that's extended it a fair bit already. So if I look across, do I want to find something I can aim for when I go across? For example, that tree. So if I keep going forward now, and maybe then say, right, if I cut across from here and go directly towards that tree, leave a bit of grass at this end, and as you can see, I've gone off at an angle. So I'd have to come back in later on and maybe tidy it up a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. So if I come across and hopefully get myself at right angles, he says, like so. We can tidy all this up, it's not a problem. And I aim for that tree. Is it going to be straight? No, because you can see automatically it's cutting across that funny angle, so I've done that horribly. That's not too bad actually, straighten up a little bit. You can see almost like lines in the field, you can kind of follow them. It's not that easy in all honesty, and it will be a little bit of jigging around at the end and a bit of fiddling around to get it just right. Now this edge, what I can do, because I can come over just a little bit because I've got the track there, what I might do this side is drop the plough down to him, and this time stick the little symbol on the middle of the bonnet, which we'd use for following ridge markers, and keep along that edge. Again, I don't know if it's going to work or not. Go forward a little bit, see where this plough digs in. Come back a little bit maybe. Try from there. Right. Keep that little silver bit in the middle of the bonnet on that edge. And hopefully this will plough straight. And I've just realised what I've done, because I'm going to hit that tree the other end, aren't I? Which means it's not going to work. I didn't want to cut that tree out, and there's a hedge there as well, isn't there? I can come in and tidy this all up. Oh god, I'm making a hash of this. But it doesn't matter, the field will be perfect once it's done. So as I was saying, as you can see, what I thought I would do was where the kind of field boundary that you could see was kind of running along here, which brings you right up there by the side of the hedge and avoiding that tree. I thought I'll go over a little bit and that will give me more of a field, so I ploughed along here. Problem with that is, when I get to here, oops, tree in the way. So what I'm going to do is come in later on, sort this edge out, and I'll show you how to do that if you don't already know. If you do, great. So I've gone back along, done another strip up to kind of tidy this up. Now, get back into the tractor. As you can see, we've now got a field boundary, an edge. The edge needs tidying up, but the inside can still be ploughed out, so that's not a problem. So hopefully now, if I hire a worker, oh, it still won't let me do this bit, will it? Oh, this bit I'll do myself, hang on. I've got it on allow create fields, so drop that down. So this bit here, I can plough out. So the inside now is just a case of ploughing as you normally would. Plough out the middle of this field. If I set a worker on this now, the worker will still not plough it. Okay, so it's going to be all me. Not a problem. So what I'm going to do now is plough this out. So I have created an extension to the field. I've made the field bigger, which is fine. Why are you not going right to the end, you might be asking. You know what? I'm going to do a crop in it of corn, and probably do it for pig food, because I need corn for pig food. They use a lot of it. If I've got too much, as I start to harvest it, and I think, you know what, I've got plenty, what I might do is the rest I'll do a silage harvest, or finish it off as a silage harvest and put it in that open-ended bunker silo. That's the other option. If I find I haven't got enough corn in this field, because the field still isn't big enough, it does give me the option to plough it out. Now, you would argue, we'll just do it anyway, do it at the start, and if you've got too much left over, it's a fair point, but it does leave me still a bit of grass area, because I'm going to need to cut grass for doing various different things. There are pros and cons both ways, and, you know, I've just chosen to do it that way. You do whichever way you want to. At the end of the day, you know, turn your entire map into one huge field. It's entirely up to you what you want to do. And that's been turned off again because I set a worker, didn't I? So, allow create fields. There we go. Right, I shall continue. I will plough this out, and then what I'll do is come back and I'll explain or show what I'm going to do to tidy the edges up. And then we need to look at getting some fertiliser in this, and then getting some seed in the ground as well. Sheep are doing fine, cows are doing fine on the farm. I've got crops growing all in various different places. Field 1 is ready to harvest. Field 4 is in the process of growing. Field 10 is in the process of growing. 9 hasn't been seeded, and this will need to be done as well. And I haven't even looked at field 15 yet. I will get to it. Okay, see you in a bit. I have stopped here for a couple of reasons. I've finished ploughing out, which means I have to go on to the next thing. And I just suddenly looked and thought, I'm not sure whether I'm going to be able to fit the roller down the side of here. So this edge might be one that I can't do a lot about, but I will try. Roller or the sweeper, I'm going to see. The roller's more realistic, I guess, than the sweeper, but we'll have a look. Right, so looking on the main menu, if we go now to growth, and you see field 5 now has been extended right out. So it comes all the way down here. Now this edge, obviously we've got this little lip here. This edge is what I'm going to have to take off because it's too far over, which is fine. I'm going to show that in a minute. If I go to soil composition, that's now done, but that's showing as first stage fertilised, which is odd. I'm not quite sure why that's the case, but anyway, it is, which means it's only this half that needs to be fertilised, because if I fertilise the whole lot, that'll put this half on first, this half on second, and that's going to get really confusing for doing the rest of it. So what I'm going to do is, if I look across the field now, where that tree is, if I drive towards it, this tree here, where the hedge is, and this little bit, the mound here, is kind of the boundary of where the other field was and the new field is, going straight across pretty much where my tracks are. So when I come to doing my fertiliser spreading or weeding, if I do that half, then both of these halves should be on the same fertiliser state, if that makes sense. I'm going to keep hold of this plough here just in case I make a mistake with the roller and I have to go back with the plough, and sometimes it can be a little bit backwards and forwards, so you just have to kind of give it a go. If I detach that and put it there, I'm going to go just there and get the lease, the rollers. Now I'm also going to, once I've done this field, I'm going to take the plough down because I've got it here before I decide to take it back and get the smaller one. If I can get from here down to field 15, avoiding traffic, which I'm pretty much thinking once I come down this road and hit here, this road's busy with traffic. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. If I get to here and I can't, I'm going to have to take it back to the shop, get the smaller one, come down, and I'm going to plough field 15 because that needs doing. That's one of mine, whatever, however you want to look at it, that needs sorting. So that will need to be done. So off to the store, and I will get the I will lease the rollers, and I'll show you what we do with that. Could do with a gate along here, really. That'd be quicker, whizzing through there. Okay, right, store. If I go along to, I think it's miscellaneous. Now, the Lizard roller, the R5000, I've done this before, different ways for different reasons. The roller is more for kind of fields, in my personal opinion. I mean, they do the same thing. With this machine, you can restore the initial ground state, delete fields. This one's the mod, the Raybold SuperNet 2200A. It's like a street sweeper, road sweeper attachment. You can reset the initial ground state, delete fields. It can remove tyre tracks and can clean the feeding site for animals, remove the remains and residue from heaps, also erase crops and remove fields. So it can do all sorts. It's cheaper to lease that one. That's only $385. The roller to lease is a whopping $539, and you can choose your colour of that as well if you wanted to. Now, I usually use the sweeper because it's cheaper to lease. But in all honesty, the rollers looks a bit more kind of realistic for what we're doing. So I'm going to lease the roller. I normally do the other one, but I'm going to lease the roller and show you what it does. I'm going to leave it yellow. I'm not that bothered about changing the colour. I could go all OCD and make it blue to match the New Holland, but there's no point. I'm not going to have it that long, in all honesty. And all of these fees, the leasing costs and bits and bobs like that, selling eggs, doing the odd contracting job here and there, it all covers the cost of those things. So if you think, oh yeah, but you only leased it for a little while, you used it for 10 minutes and you've got a day's lease on it, it's £539. You do one contracting job, you're going to pay for that easily and have money left over. which also covers your fertiliser costs and, you know, all that kind of thing. Fertiliser and seed and things like that. So don't, you know, don't stress it too much. I'm trying not to, so don't worry. Now this could be fitted on the front or the back, doesn't really matter. I think for actually clearing the field, sometimes on the front gives you a little bit more control, but really doesn't matter. I will wait, I don't want to run this lady over with the tractor or the roller on the back. She's incredibly smartly dressed for wandering down the side of the road. Okay, so the far side we'll have a look at in a minute. Actually, this roller might not be too wide, we'll see. It's getting this just right, because if you can make it worse. You really can make it a lot worse. I know it could be much worse than I've already made it, but you really can. So what I've got to look at now is where I want my actual boundary to be. It needs to be level with this. Now, the one thing to be careful of, and I've found this before when I did Goldcrest Valley, is when you plonk this down, without the tree in the way, when you put this down, it will actually clear the fields wider than the roller. Because I thought, oh yeah, follow right along the edge of the roller. It doesn't. It goes a little bit wider. So come away from where you want to be to start off with, and then edge in. That way you can kind of gauge where you need to be a lot easier. And I'll show you what I mean. So if I lower the roller down now, and as you roll, you can see it kind of deletes the patches around. It's taking all that grass away actually. Now you've got to be careful, because you can see now it's putting the grass in, or a boundary. If I come too far over, I'm going to add the boundary where I don't want it. I want it about there, so it's just out to the side. So if I stay along this furrow, I'll show you, I'll jump out. So it comes a little bit wider than the actual roller. So what I want to do is try and follow this furrow here, this one here, because it will take across that furrow. That's where I want to be. So I need the roller kind of rolling along the edge of this one. And if I come back, you'll see what I mean. The roller will be on one furrow, and it will kind of go out a little bit to the next furrow over. This is where I want my line to be, so I need to be kind of in line with that one. So, like I say, we'll give it a go. It's not going to be perfect, but I'll try my best to keep it straight. The faster you go, so it's gone over just a fraction over, and it changes everything. So I've got to try and keep it in line. Yeah, it's done it again. It's incredibly hard to keep this straight, and you will get a little bit where it's patchy and it happens, but let's try and no, come on, doesn't want to know. There we go. And if you come too far over, it goes over the next furrow, and then you end up just going backwards and forwards between the plough and the roller, and the plough and the roller, just trying to get your line. That doesn't look too bad actually. Now don't go too far off the end here, and when you get to the end, lift it, get it off the ground, because you don't want to turn around and find yourself accidentally going over a part you didn't want to go over, and then you've ruined the whole thing, you know. All your hard work's been for naught. So I need to drop this down here, because I've got a little bit of a strip here. I need to make sure I roll her back in, and this bit here where it didn't quite, like I say, lift it up, because if I swing round now with the roller down, I'm going to go onto my field. So I've got to make sure I bring that about there. Let's have we get on. Come on. This is really fiddly, and it just comes down to my OCD, because in all honesty, whether the field's got a tiny little bit here or there, it really isn't the end of the world, but in my mind it needs to be a straight field edge. So there we go, perfect. It's not perfectly in line, but you know what, it's not bad. So what I can do now, so that's that edge cleared up. All the mess I made, I've now got a nice straight field edge. That's sorted. Going across, in all honesty, wasn't too bad. There's a little bit straggly here, but I've got a nice turning circle at the end. Maybe tidy this tiny little bit up here. So same thing, bring it over a little bit further away from where I want to be. Drop that down. If I come across, yeah, this one just a little bit more. There we go. So just here, it should just give me a slightly tidier edge, that's all. Now, this is where I've got an issue, because I don't think I've got enough room to get down the side where this tree is. And what's going to happen is, I'm going to end up making a mess of it. Let's see if I can. Don't want to go too far over. Yeah, it's gone a little bit too far over. That's not too bad. It's kind of tidied it up. There you go. So if I look down that road now, it's actually not too bad. There's another little bit further on, which if I want to be really, like I say, really OCD about it, it's just where I've gone a little bit over to one side as I've gone down the field. It's not a massive issue. It really isn't. It's just me, you know, but you know, it just tidies it up a little bit. Alright, there you go. But that's it. That's the roller. That's how it works. I've now got a relatively nice, tidy field edge. All the way around. Now, when it takes it back to its original state, it means like the original kind of programming state. So just turn it off and jump out. So this now, that's not going to grow grass on it. It's not going to, because it looks like a grassy strip, the grass will now not grow through here. And the same as when I get to the other side here, if I quickly run across, you've got this grass that will grow, and the grass will come back, which it should do. But here, because I've used the roller, it's taken it back to kind of an original programming state. That will always stay like that now. The grass won't grow through here. So it's that kind of, it's a catch-22. You're going to lose a little bit around the edge, but it kind of blends in relatively well. It's not a massive problem. But that's it. That's field 5 now extended. I've got a much bigger field 5. I've got a little bit of grass left on the end. It does mean I've got a turning circle at the end for turning ploughs and vehicles and things around, and harvesters, etc. Which isn't too bad. The roller, I'm going to put it in the yard, to store the yard. I'm not sure I'm going to actually convert any more fields as it stands at the moment, and really for what it costs it doesn't really matter. I could take it back and release it another point for 500, but for the next 24 hours, like I kind of did for a little while with the potato harvesting equipment, if I leave it in the store yard, if in the next 24 hours I need it, I can just go and grab it, and it's not going to cost me anything. But before that 24-hour period runs out, or before midnight anyway, because then it charges you again another set of leasing fees, I can always just give it back before that time. So do exactly the same thing as I did here. If I lower that down and detach it, that can stay there, and I can give it back before midnight. Okay. Field 15 is literally there, so I can just whiz through very, very quickly without hitting it on anything, which I think I already hit the fence. This is our field. That wasn't so bad actually. I'm really torn with this plough, because I'm thinking, you know, we're cutting across the odd field here and there, and the odd tiny little bit on a road. It might mean sometimes going a bit of a weird way around getting to fields, but you could argue you could get across the map with it and it'd still be useful. What I'm going to do is keep it. I've paid for it, it's mine, I own it, so at the end of the day, if I can get around the map with it over the next few episodes and it's not an issue, I'll keep it. If it is an issue, I'll sell it and get the smaller one. I'm just thinking it's going to make quite light work of some of these fields, and that's what I need it to do. So, field 15, first time I've been over here. Let's plough this baby out, shall we? It's a peculiar shaped field. Not particularly huge, but these fields do need ploughing. If you're going to get maximum yield, they need it to be ploughed, they need the fertiliser states done, and then you will get maximum yield out of them. If you turn the ploughing off, then you just need to do the fertiliser states and you'll get maximum yield. If you turn the fertilising states off, then you just need to fertilise once, you'll get the maximum yield. So it's kind of scales of not difficulty. It's not difficult, is it? It's just time, whether you want to spend the time doing it, I suppose. Yeah. Going to do a bar around the edge first, or I'll just try and work out the best way of doing it. Right, anyway, so you've seen me ploughing. I've done this before. Not that long ago, in all honesty. So I'm going to plough this out. But I just thought, you know what? We're on field 5. We're on different field 5. Field 15. Different part of the map. Different scenery, different view. How exciting. I have to decide what crop I'm going to put in this. So I'm going to come back out once this is ploughed. I need to come back out with fertiliser sprayer. Get some fertiliser on this one and field 5. Had an interesting conversation with my daughter the other day. She's been doing some work at school. Who was talking to me about the effects of fertiliser spreading on farms, etc. And the effect it can have on water courses, and if it, the rain washes it off and that kind of thing. And the weird thing is, this is a game. I absolutely know it's a game. And as I started to plough across here, I'm looking at the river next to it thinking, and I just said, I'm going to come over here with the fertiliser spreader, then thinking, I really shouldn't do that, because if the fertiliser goes into the river, so, oh my god, I've lost my mind. But, she's absolutely right, but I've done it again. If I don't press left 1 properly, I've said this repeatedly, if I press circle, it hires a worker. If I press left 1 in circle, it drops the plough. Problem is I keep pressing left 1 in circle, but I'm obviously not pressing left 1 hard enough, the left 1 shoulder button, because it's hiring a worker, and it's getting really frustrating. But it's my own fault. I'm just not pressing down on it hard enough. Right. As I said a couple of minutes ago, I shall continue. I have taken the New Holland is up at the store because I need to pick up the seeder for putting the corn in the ground, but I've come back, grabbed the Puma because I need to get fertiliser in the ground on field 5. The bit that I've just reploughed or newly ploughed on G7 is already showing first fertiliser state, so don't need to go over that bit, but field 5 does need a bit of a spray. So I thought I'd come the back way through, and as you can see, I said field 9 I had ploughed. That actually could probably do with I could give that another going over, couldn't I? So I weeded it, now it's ploughed. I could probably get away with sticking a run of fertiliser over that, which I might do on the way back. I also need to do field 15. So just whiz down here, bung left, on to field 5. Oh, I wish these were proper puddles. I wish they flicked up mud and... I know. Buy a PC. I know. I like my PlayStation. I've always been a PlayStation gamer. I've owned PCs, but I've never really played games on PCs. Anyway, that said, field 5, I'm now getting some fertiliser on the ground, which will give me the first fertilising state. What is quite good with these Bredal fertiliser spreaders, yes, they're expensive to fill up initially, but they don't get through it that quickly. They're not horrendously bad. I could actually come over a lot further, couldn't I? I'm wasting a lot of this. And remember what I said, if I only come up as far as, or literally just past, that tree on the left with the little mound, so I don't need to go over. The problem is I'm going to go over slightly, which you'll see when I show you on the map, because the other half, where I'm just going over that mound, will be showing as a darker shade, because I'm kind of covering that bit. It's already been done, but it's not the end of the world. So as you can see on the map, I have now just finished field 5. So it's showing the same fertiliser state now, which is good as the bit that I ploughed out. But you can see where I came across and turned and went across towards the tree, I've gone over a bit that was already done, so that's now showing as the second fertiliser state. To be fair, I only caught a little bit of it, so that's actually not too bad. So that's all in the same fertiliser state now, for all intents and purposes. That's ready for seeding. 9 was weeded, but I've now just ploughed it, so that actually can have another going over, so that will take on to its next fertiliser state. And field 15, why is that not showing as ploughed? I definitely ploughed that bit. Let's go and check that. That can now have a go with the fertiliser spreader as well. When you look at the different size of fields between field 5 and field 15, it's going to take me no time at all to whiz over that, and it'll only be one pass over field 9 as well, so it's not too bad. So there we go, that's this field sorted, ready for seeding. I'm now going to head down to field 15, get that done very, very quickly, then field 9, and then I'll be ready to get some seeding done. We are moving forward. Thinking what I might do as well off screen at some point is go around to all the G fields around the field, and that's not me being all kind of talking like the kids do. I don't mean it's a gangster field, it's all like G in it, you know, no, G for grass, I'm not an idiot. Gangster fields, that's cool, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, go around and cut all the grass fields, and then go around with the loading wagon and just collect all the grass up from everywhere I can and put it into the silage bunker silo, again, whatever you call it. It has had various different names. They refer to it as bunker silo on this, but yeah, silage pit, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I might do that. I might do that off screen. So any grass area I can find. Actually, just saying that, let me just turn that off a second. Let's have a look on the map. How many G's are there? Because I've ploughed most of that one out, in all honesty. We've got G5, yeah, I've got a little bit there. Tiny little bit in G4. G3 I could do. I've done G1 and 2. I mean, G6, again, it's quite small, but there's a little bit there. I've got G10, G9, G8. Yeah, I'll go around the map, cut all of those, and then go around the loading wagon and collect up all the grass I can. Like I say, put corn in this one, harvest the corn for the pigs, but then if I've got any left over, maybe a quick silage harvest. The only trouble with the silage harvest is buying or leasing forage harvesters. Whoa, that's not cheap. But I'm going to look at alternatives. We'll see how we get on. So, yes, I shall carry on. Well, the fields around me are now fertilised. 5's done, 15's done, 9's done somewhere over there. I've taken the... I actually went to the store, filled up the fertiliser spreader, which cost me about 3,000. So I'm thinking, start of the next episode, I might do a little bit of contracting. I've still got nearly 300,000 there, but you know, it's part of the game. I haven't done any much contracting for a little while. Anyway, I'm up at the store because also next episode I'm going to get the Vedastat Tempo 8 F8, whatever it's called, Tempo F8, isn't it? I'm sure it is. Somewhere written on here it says Tempo F8. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to get this out and start doing a bit of seeding on 5 to get some corn in the ground. That's the plan. We'll hook this up and get that going. But we are at the end of another episode. They are flying by. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share the video, please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. As always, thanks for watching.